Hey guys, welcome to Hanover Airbrush. Today we're going to be doing a little bit more work outside, so I apologize for the wind noise. We got some birds chirping over there, but hey. The reason we're outside is because this is going to be stage one of a new series of the How to Airbrush. And today we're going to be doing a little bit of body work. I've been commissioned to do a rail gun, which is a shotgun for a turkey shoot. We're going to do some pretty cool artwork on this. But before we can get started on that, a little bit of body work that had to be done to fill in some old war wounds, if you will. So yesterday when I got it, I went ahead and I spread out some glazing putty. We're going to knock these edges down. We're going to make everything nice and smooth. We're going to prime it, and then we're going to start. And I'm not sure at this point how many different sections of the video there will be, but I am going to break it down into pieces. So this will be the first step, which is going to be body work, panel prep, and priming, and then might even continue over into putting our base color down. So let's get started with the body work. Step one is going to be to smooth out all this body work. Notice I got a hard backer. It's a piece of wood, and the right way to do this is to keep crossing at light pressure, doing X patterns. There you go, that's what you want. Resist the temptation to spit on your artwork. Use a paintbrush. Get all the crap away with a paintbrush. So now that we're done with the 180 grit, everything's all nice and smooth. Just going to make sure, gently scuff up the rest of all the shiny spots in the paint with 320. I want to make sure there are no shiny spots. Like this area right in here, you can see there's a couple spots that need to be hit with sandpaper. You can either use a tighter grit sandpaper, or you could hit stuff like this with Scotch-Brite. It's entirely up to you. Now when you get to the areas on the edges, you probably want to switch over to Scotch-Brite. The sandpaper is a lot more aggressive. So if you use a Scotch-Brite on the edges, you'd be less likely to change the shape of the panel or your project. You don't want to change the shape, you just want to scuff up the edges so that the paint's got something to stick to. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to dust this and come back and we're going to put some primer down. Alright, there's two things that you definitely want to keep in mind. The wind's starting to pick up, so I'm going to make this short. You're not going to get to see me spray this. Basically, you want to get sandable primer. You want to put down enough to where you can come back and sand it and sand all the imperfections out. And the best technique I found for putting paint down is read the directions on the can. They know what's best for their particular product. And if they say put it down in 3 light coats, put it down in 3 light coats. If they want it in 1 medium heavy and 1 medium heavy, do that. There's a whole lot of science and chemistry involved in making these products and making them so that we can depend on them. So if you follow the directions on the can, you can't go wrong. I'm going to spray this now. Alright, so I just finished up. I got the 3rd coat on there, and I'm going to take my glasses off and make sure that I got 100% coverage, but so far it looks really good. and the can says let it dry for 2 to 4 hours depending on the conditions. Right now I'm outside, perfect conditions, so I'm gonna check up on it in 2 hours. I'm thinking about putting a white base coat down. That's gonna make my airbrush work a lot easier because of the colors that I want to use. The white is gonna help them, and white should be the background color for the colors that I plan on using. That was kind of redundant, wasn't it? Anyways, I'm going to let this cure 2 to 4 hours. I'm going to have a beer or so and scuff it down with a Scotch-Brite pad and shoot some color on. See you in a bit. Just got through staining the primer, so next step is we're going to wipe it down again. And again, you don't want to blow on this. You don't want to spit on your project because saliva has silica in it and it'll make fish eyes in the paint. Our base color in this particular project is going to be white, and that's going to give us a nice blank canvas. It's going to help me use less paint material because the paints that I want to use will benefit from having a bright base color underneath them. So now I'm trying to get all the pollen off of here. Anybody that's lived in the South, Virginia, knows how much of a real problem that can be. So if you're at this stage and you find out that you get a little suicide bug, or you get a drip, a run, or a sag in there or something like that, go check out my other video. It's how to polish dull paint, and that video has the necessary steps. And at this stage, all you would have to do is sand out the imperfection and then throw another coat of primer over top of the whole thing, and then nobody will ever know. So this layer basically has to be perfect. If it's less than perfect, then everything we put on top of it is just going to be junk. It's going to magnify the problems that we already have. So you want your primer, your base, to be about as perfect as you can get. That's looking pretty good. I'm going to go get my white. We're going to put a base coat down. So I got my rattle can white. If you don't have one of these little trigger things, they're worth it. They really help. So I'm going to blow a coat of white enamel over top of this primer, and see you guys back in a couple minutes. So here we are, second coat. And that's all the coverage I got. So I know what you're thinking. Second coat, you'd like to see some more coverage, but again, based on the instructions on this particular can, they say multiple light coats give a better result than heavy coats. This is why I use a dark primer under a bright color, so that when I get 100% coverage, it's easier to know. Whereas if I'd have used a light colored primer, like a white primer, and then sprayed white over top, I might have used less materials, but it would have been harder to see where I had 100% coverage. And again, this is only a base color. I'm going to paint over this. So once I get 100% coverage, I'm going to let it cure, and then we're going to hit it with a Scotch-Brite again. We'll let this flash for a couple minutes. According to the instructions on the can, recoat within 4 hours or after a week. So, not very specific. So let's let this flash and recoat as necessary. Alright, there you go. Got 100% coverage. Just as the paint can ran out. So what kind of luck is that? One trick, little piece of advice I will offer you: if you have nooks and crannies, or you have areas that you feel like you might forget or miss, hit those first That way when you're painting, you don't have to think about them. They've already got paint on them, so you can hit the big sections. That's the way I like to do it anyway. So, got 100% coverage. Beautiful day. 4 hours to sit here and let this thing just kind of gas out. See you in 4 hours. Alright, so there you go. Got it all in white. And 4 hours later, the paint's cured. It's real nice. The next step is going to be to take our Scotch-Brite and we're going to scuff all this up. And then we're going to be ready to start laying out our design. Be sure to check me out. Subscribe if you haven't already. And keep watching. Episode 2 is just right around the corner. And that's going to be masking and getting the design down. Be sure to check back. I'm going to make a couple videos about the different stages and the different designs that I'm going to do on this. So thanks for watching. As always, I hope you learned something. Go to my main page there, and there's a little Facebook link. You can click on that, and you can follow me on Facebook, and that way you'll know when new videos come out. So until then, see ya. I got some work to do.